I was never qualified for anything. I didn't finish high school. So how far did you go? First year, not even finish first year high school. They think you're joking. It's like, well, I had to think out of the box.
Yeah.
And so I monetized my personality. I once was able to sell fat. We raised $500,000 or roughly, but we put 7 kids through school for 5 years.
Wow.
It was fat. That's all I sold, Chinkee, was fat. You see how when you think outside of the box.
Galing.
This is Money Masters, where true stories spark real change.
Chinkee Tan, with over 6 million Facebook followers, 2.8 million YouTube subscribers, and 2.4 million TikTok fans, is now all out to share with you the most practical, simplest path to lasting wealth.
Okay guys, ito lang danger to. Nako, lumalim na naman tong usapan na ito. Ever since AI came out, specifically ChatGPT, they gave you a free account. They give us a free account. And then you start to use it, you get addicted in using it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, they have limits, right?
Yep, then a subscription.
Yeah, and then, okay, if you want, you can access it anytime. It's smarter. You have to pay $20 per month.
So it's pricing, huh?
Yeah, not only that. After $20, there's another $200 if you want to go to the professional level.
Yes.
So, guys, ingat-ingat kayo na, yun nga, they always give something for free.
As the saying goes, if you can't find where the product is, you are the product.
So guys, okay, let's look at from not a victim perspective, but from a creator perspective. So I hope that you are learning from what we're talking about. Kung ikaw nagnenegosyo ka, find something that you can offer, probably a low-hanging fruit that you can offer. And then after that, once they realize that it's valuable what you're offering, you can offer something that's upgraded. It's called what you call as upselling.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect example for this is, especially kung ikaw nahihirapan ka maghanap ng work, you always say, it's so hard to find work. You know what? You won't have a hard time finding work. How? You try to work for free.
Yeah.
Well, I know social media. I know you're a content creator, and I can see some spots. Hey, James, what if I can help you to probably manage, grow, and think of something that can help you to grow your channel or probably make your life easier? Will you be open? Definitely, he would say yes. And the goodness, I'm going to do it to you for free. And exactly that's what happened to me when a guy reached out to me and told me, since I don't do FB ads, I do only organic during that time. And he told me, I'm willing to help you to grow your channel and grow your sales through Facebook ads. I don't believe in that. No, I'm willing to work for you for free. All you need to do is just pay for the ads, what do you call this, advertisement for Facebook.
The boost, yeah.
To cut the long story short, I invested 20,000 on for ad spent. It generated me 200,000 sales.
Wow.
After 1 month.
Wow.
So 10x. And I told him, okay, let's and he asked me the following month, do you want to continue? Yes. Yeah, first month for free. Second month, 50K.
Wow. So oh wow.
Do you understand?
No, I understand very well, because you're saying if you find it hard to work, try and offer for free. Then when somebody says, okay, that means we've established that the work is available.
Yes.
It's now just the price point that we're discussing.
Yes.
It's not anymore that there's a shortage of work. We're just the value of your work.
Yes.
Is this what's being discussed? You prove in the first month your value. Now look at you.
Exactly. Guys,
You're not just a consumer, you're a promoter of this now.
Yeah, no. What I'm trying to say is, a lot of people saying it's mismatch, there's no job opportunities. There's a lot.
We used the same principle before when I used to sell cars back in the day. I'm talking about when I was in my early 20s. The same thing, I remember one sales master taught me. He said, when somebody's like, says, oh, I don't know about the car. I don't think I'm gonna buy this car off you, etc., etc. Just give me a figure that you would pay for this car. I don't care how much. Tell me. Okay, it's $20,000. Give me a figure, Chinkee.
10,000.
Okay, there we go. We've established that it's not the car that's the problem. You would buy the car. It's just a matter of price. Because you gave me a figure that you would buy it. So the car is not the issue. If the car was the issue, we have a problem, because I can't sell you something you don't want.
Yeah.
But now you just told me you want it. It's just the price that you wanted that. So now let's talk. Let's be reasonable. Then you start and work from there because you've already established that it is sellable. The work is there. It's just the price now. The car you want, it's just the price. And the price is the easiest thing to negotiate. Don't let me negotiate you loving the car. I can't do that. But negotiating the price, very easy.
So what if we can do a payment plan that can fit?
Yes, because that's an easy problem to solve. What's not an easy problem to solve is making you love the car.
Yeah, if you don't see the value.
Yes, or in the example that you were setting, there's no work out there.
Guys, this is I don't know if you watch this episode, sobrang masterclass to, especially right now we're talking about sales. Ang problema hindi naman yung product eh. Ang problema, yun nga, minsan hindi talaga yung price lang, 'di ba? Everybody's willing to own a house, right?
Yes.
It's not the willingness eh. It's the ability. If you can find the match, it's just matching, right? It's just putting triangles on triangles and squares on squares. It's so hard to fit triangles with squares. And you've been in sales pa na for how long?
Oh, that was my foundation. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, before, because I was never qualified for anything. I didn't finish high school. So I had no way to like enter like the traditional workforce, like banking or all these other places that required college degrees. So sales, but I was in Australia at the time. So sales, it's really, there's no qualifications
Yeah.
based on its performance based. So if you can sell, and the best thing about sales is the interview was your first attempt at selling.
Exactly, you sell yourself.
You sell yourself. So if you could sell yourself there, you could sell anything, right? That was the principle. They don't care if you're qualified or not because at the end of the day, it's just performance based.
Are you aware that I started my sales career at the age of 12?
No, I did not, but it doesn't surprise me though.
I've never passed a resume in my entire life.
You wouldn't have to.
Yeah,
know-
again, well, it's nothing bad applying for work. Well, I'm just saying some people are just called to work. Some people are just called to sales.
I also had the same thing, but it was not really by choice. It was just by destiny and design.
By chance.
By chance, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't plan to not finish school. That was just the circumstances at the time. And but what it did do is it forced me into a very different mindset that I see
Yeah.
currently. And that mindset was I've never had a job with a safety net.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Same.
sales, it's always performance based. So I never had that. So when I eventually got into, so it was like first sales, but there was DJing. I was a karaoke singer for a while. Yeah. You got to earn money, right? And then eventually I came back and I started radio again, just the voice. You didn't need anything.
Yeah.
As long as they,
You're
that's the product now, the voice.
Yeah.
So whether you finish college or didn't finish college, if you liked the way you sound, you got the job. So that was radio. Then the magazine, writing. Thankfully, the people that I joined with were not experienced publishers, nor were they editors.
Or they will ask probably.
Or they will ask, where's your degree? None of them had any. We were just a bunch of car enthusiasts.
Okay.
So I was lucky there that a bunch of car enthusiasts put together a car magazine. None of them had any experience in it. They just came with passion. So when they asked me to write, and I said, I was point blank, I was very honest with my boss then. I said, Ken, I didn't finish high school, right? He goes, well, it doesn't matter because so long as you have the heart and you write with, passion, we'll get proofreaders and stuff to do all that. So it was an easier problem solved than the other way around.
Eh guys, ito lang FYI, baka nagtataka kayo, ba't di siya nakapag-finish ng elementary or probably high school, pero galing niya, ba't ang galing niya mag-English? Bakit?
I know, right? Well,
Kasi you're born in, right? Where were you born?
born here.
Born here.
I was born and raised in the Philippines.
And then,
I moved to Australia at 14.
so that's the time, I believe because you're forced to learn the language there.
Well, my dad's British, so
Oh.
that's where that came from.
And then FYI, may hidden actually he does part-time also as a judge in
American Idol.
yeah, American Idol and America's
Got talent.
Got Talent. Kung napapansin nyo, sino kahawig niya?
That was
Type sa comment section.
absolutely rubbish. Rubbish. Get off stage.
If anyone, dude,
I get that. I get that. But the one I get more of is Justoni Alarcon.
Oh, yeah.
I get that. And
And the wife of I think sino to yung, si ano to? Not Ann Curtis, but the other one.
Erwan Nico, no?
Yes.
What if in just 2 weeks, may validated kang business idea ready to start selling and earning? Hindi to drawing, hindi to wishful thinking. It's a real business that will bring you extra income that you need to enjoy for the rest of your life. Na simple, actionable, at pwede mo siyang i-execute kaagad. The good news, hindi mo na kailangang manghula. Just one clear step every single day. At not only simple guide, this is an AI-powered blueprint to launch your first negosyo in just 2 weeks. Dahil ako'y naniniwala, deserve mo to.
Yeah, sino yung ano?
Solen?
Si Solen, yung husband niya.
Nico.
Si Nico.
Yeah.
Kahawig mo.
Talaga, yung Argentinian guy? Say, Nico, you should be flattered. I wish I had Nico's address. Have you seen that? I get that, and then I don't know if you'll see it now, but there was a stage in my life, a long stage in my life. Edu Manzano, before.
Ay, oo. Edu!
Especially before when I had darker hair, because Edu's hair is dark and,
Yeah.
and all that. There's a shape of face. And now that he's going viral with all these
I mean,
AI memes and stuff, some people were like, akala mo it was you, a younger you. Because there was a time they used to call me Eddie.
nako, grabe. So right now, James, if you were given, give me one money principle that every professional, I must say, should learn. What do you think it would be?
You have to outpace inflation. You got to have that. Anything that you do in investment, does it outpace inflation? If it doesn't outpace inflation, don't bother with it. I might have different principles to you in terms of how I invest, and I don't know if you'd agree with me or not.
Go ahead.
It might be a little radical but one of the rabbit holes I went down during the pandemic was Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah.
You follow Bitcoin?
Of course. Di ba?
All right. It changed. It didn't just change my investment strategy. Chinkee, it changed me as a person completely. Because when I told you before the pandemic, I was very naive, very ignorant with money and stuff like that. I knew how to make it for some reason. I was very good at making it because I was a survivor. Again, without having fallback, you tend to just sniff out opportunities a little bit more than most people because wala kang fallback na eh. So you always look at opportunities in a different way. So I had no problem with that, but I didn't understand the rest of it. When the pandemic hit, I started going down this rabbit hole of Bitcoin, and I realized how broken money is. It is shockingly broken. I always thought money was backed by gold. I just thought that was the way it was, right? A lot of people still think this. They think it's backed by something. I mean, you don't just make it out of thin air. Well, apparently you do. You make it out of thin air. If you're a central bank, you just print what you want. So it started to be like, wait, hang on, how did this happen? Then you go back in history, you find out that in 1971, it was Nixon who dropped it off the gold standard. That way, it wasn't pegged to anything, which meant we entered this debt-based economy that we're in right now.
Yeah.
And this debt-based economy is 100% inflation-based because it requires spending to be able to sustain itself. It's basically, in my eyes, it's no different to a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Because you need to spend more to create this, to keep this thing afloat. And that's why they have this 2% inflation, which is never really 2%, because they will need to generate this new expenditure into the system so that they can issue more debt and then just issue. This is where planned obsolescence becomes a thing. We're talking about things that don't last anymore. Fridges used to last a lifetime. Cars used to last 20, 30 years, no problem. Why all of a sudden are we replacing our TVs every 5 years, our fridges every 5 years or 10 years?
Exactly.
Why?
It's
planned
been
obsolescence.
Yeah, if that's the goal.
That's the goal, because they need to generate more consumption in the economy.
iPhone.
The iPhone should be, if you look at it, it's deflationary because it's tech, right? The iPhone should cost like $50 now. It doesn't. Why? They keep on adding stuff there that we think we need, but it's all part of this consumer-based economy. So all of us are just looked at as consumers. AI is going to accelerate this because they're just going to get everyone to just spend. Bitcoin reverses all of this. It goes back into a sound money principle.
Yeah.
And this changed the way I see financing, because it changed a fundamental thing in me where I thought money is nothing but, if you wanted to reduce it to its simplest form, it is our time, value, and energy in abstract form. That's all it is, right? What you do today, all the value you create today, you get a certain monetary equivalent to that. I don't want to exchange my value, time, and energy for something that somebody else can just print.
Yeah.
I want to put into something that is rooted in, there's proof of work,
Mm.
right? Gold has proof of work. It's Bitcoin, proof of work. There is a process there. There's energy expended, and it's locked into this. It's sealed in there.
Yeah.
Somebody spent money, time, and energy to mine that Bitcoin. There was no lusot.
Yeah.
They didn't just print that and type it on a computer. They can't do that.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount of it, 21 million.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's scarcity built into the code.
So guys, ito lang just to para mas lang. Alam ko medyo nosebleed na kayo ngayon sa sinasabi ni James. Sisimplihan ko lang. Ang sinasabi kasi dati nga, ang pera ay equivalent na, kunyari, magpiprint ka ng pera, kailangan meron kang X amount of gold na as proof to back it up. Para sabihin, ito yung value ng pera. Parang sa nila, kung mangungutang ka sa bangko, di ba, you're gonna borrow money from a bank. They don't just lend you money. You have to have a collateral.
Correct.
To back it up, that you have the capacity to pay. Ganun yan eh. So likewise, ang problema ngayon sa pera, specifically, I don't know here in the Philippines, but in the States, they overprinted money. As in, especially during the time of the pandemic. The reason why they're still afloat right now, because they're still considered as the number one, or probably one of the biggest reserve, at the same time, accepted currency all over the world. Pero pag hindi na tinanggap yan, wala nang halaga yung dollar. Wala. Kaya nga guys, ito lang compared to Bitcoin, yung sinasabi niya, again, we're not, again, based on the study, the reason why Bitcoin works for him and then for some other people, kasi number one, hindi mo pwede i-manufacture to. At the same time, this is what we call as, again, it's called, again, no, it's, at the same time, limited ang resources, 21 million lang siya. Kung na-exhaust na yung 21 million, hanggang dyan na lang. At the same time, what do you call the technology behind?
Blockchain.
Yeah, it's called blockchain. I don't want to go deep dive there. I'm sure mawawala tayo dito. But it's very transparent. Yeah. At the same time, the good thing about this one, yung pag may Bitcoin ka, kahit pumunta ka na sa ibang bansa,
Exactly.
you can withdraw anytime. You can eat anytime. 24/7.
I'll share even something that's even crazier that I just found out.
Oh.
Because you're right about that being, it's a universal pristine asset that you can take anywhere in your head.
Yeah.
That's another brilliant thing. Gold is fantastic. It's worked for over 5,000
But
years.
you have to fit.
Try taking that through an airport.
Yeah.
Hindi pwede.
Yeah.
Okay?
Painting arts,
etc. Hindi pwede. You'll have to smuggle that, and there are hefty fines in jail if you get caught. Bitcoin, just remember 12 words.
passwords.
That's it. 12 words. That's all. You can keep it in your head.
Yeah.
If you remember those 12 words, you can go to Zimbabwe, you can go to Switzerland, you can go to the United States, you can go to Dubai. In Dubai, they don't even have taxes for cryptocurrencies. There's no capital gains, no income tax. So it's becoming a crypto haven, because people are now seeing what really triggered this was when the US froze Russia's assets. And then it showed to the world immediately, I won't get into why. Never mind. The why is not important. It just showed in one stroke of a signature of Joe Biden that that's not a neutral asset, meaning US dollars, because they froze it and they sanctioned them. But you can't sanction Bitcoin. You can't freeze Bitcoin. It's a bearer asset.
No, don't give them too much ideas. Probably the people who people's getting illegal money will put it on radio.
No, that's the worst thing they could do. That's the worst thing they can do. This is, if you put it there, sunlight, we see it. Okay, if you're one of these contractors of DPWH, that's why Senator Bam Aquino is pushing for the blockchain as part of our budget to be put on the blockchain, because then we would see every single transaction.
Yeah.
You cannot walang lusot. And that's what we need, is we need transparency.
Alam mo, simple lang, yung blockchain na pinag-uusapan po natin, to cut the long story short, it's just a ledger. When you say ledger,
that's all it is.
Pag pumunta ka ng isang building, di ba, bago ka pumasok, no ID, no entry. Tapos ledger ka. time in, time out, pipirma ka. So, naka-data na yun. And then once na, okay, something happened on this day, they go back to the ledger.
Correct.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
who signed it, what time, may video ka, di
It's
ba?
immutable.
Yes, ganun siya. So in other words,
It's the worst place
hindi
to
mo
have.
pwedeng i-edit yan, hindi mo
pwede.
pwedeng i-snowflake yan. Hindi, yun ang ibig sabihin po ng blockchain. Ganun kasimple lang.
And because it's decentralized, because you can have a blockchain that's not centralized. Oh, that's
Centralized.
Yes, you can have that.
Yeah.
In fact, all of them are, except Bitcoin and maybe Dogecoin.
Yeah.
There's time, but Bitcoin is the premier one. Because if it's decentralized, you can't get into cahoots with random nodes around the world.
Hindi kasi may
Random yan eh.
may tawag namin doon paper trail eh. Matitrace.
Absolutely, it's a digital trail, and this is why a lot of criminals before. So that's why the U.S. has over almost 200,000 Bitcoin confiscated from criminals that they caught, right?
Mhm.
Like Silk Road, all these people like that, because it's just all there. But this is why, Bitcoin is going to be. It's you're funneling all the world's wealth is starting to find its way into Bitcoin. And when that eventually, when the penny drops, there's only a scarce amount, finite amount. You're trying to pour all this in. What happens? The price goes up.
Yeah, supply and demand na naman. So to cut the long story short, ang simple lang 'tong usapan na ito. We're not talking about Bitcoin. If you don't understand Bitcoin, don't get into it.
No,
So,
please don't.
that's the worst thing that you can get into. Ang pinag-usapan natin, make your money grow. Get into something that you understand, get to something that you are familiar with, but if you're not familiar with,
Don't.
please don't get into it.
Correct.
One more question about money. What do you think is the limiting belief about money that holding most of the Filipinos back? That's the reason why they're still at the bottom of the pyramid.
I think we've got very difficult access to money for most people. So that I think is their biggest hurdle that they need to get across, because unless you have money, you can't borrow money. It's a vicious cycle, right?
Exactly.
It's a catch-22. So we force them into very old-fashioned things to do, like put money in the bank, save your money under your mattress. Basta mag-ipon ka. You have to, as you said, make it grow. You have to make it grow. You just can't tuck it away. That's not enough. Inflation will eat that all away. So I think that's the biggest hurdle for Filipinos right now is they have to have money to make money.
Yeah.
It's not completely democratized, but it's slowly getting there.
Yeah.
I do see some headwind now because I see a lot of digital banks opening up. I see a lot of crypto is getting very important here, getting to be a very big market here, which means it's allowing people who are traditionally unbanked
Yeah.
to somehow be visible on the financial system. And that's already a start.
Yeah.
And then from there, you'll start to learn, okay, financial inclusion.
Yeah.
No man is an island. And when you keep them out of the system, which most people sadly are, they're out of the system. They're living hand to mouth. They're at the mercy of usurious
Yeah.
rates. They're at the mercy of
Ang taas ng interest.
yes. And it breaks my heart into a million pieces because I hear horrendous stories like one of my friends run for counselor in one of the cities here. He didn't win, but one of his platforms was he was trying to solve this problem, like the poor in like informal settling areas. Yeah, they'll pay something like 500 to 1,000 for a space to live, right? And that's just a bed somewhere. But they'll pay something like 1,000 in water. How is that? How does that add up?
Yeah.
I don't even pay that in my house. Why are they because it's cartel.
Yes.
These are the things that you get exploited by when you don't have money. You're not protected by associations. You're not protected by all this. And sadly, this is they put you into this area where you talagang feel the less you have, the more you're exploited.
Yeah. So guys, ito lang FYI, no? Let's just put everything into balance. Money is very important, especially if you want to scale and grow. However, kahit na wala kang masyadong pera ngayon, alam mo, yung ginawa ni let's go back. Wala naman pera si James na nag-umpisa eh. Pero binenta niya yung skill niya eh. May skill ka eh, may alam ka eh. 'Di ba? Kung magaling ka sa sales ka. Magaling ka karpintero ka, be the best at what you're doing. Sell what you have right now, guys. And never be trapped by the idea na, "Ay, wala akong pera, eh. Kaya I cannot start anything." Even you have all the money in the world, honestly, but if you do not know what to do with the money, dahan-dahan maubos yan. But even though you don't have much, but you have the skill, 'di ba, you have the talent. Kaya nga ang pinaka-first na investment, people always ask me, "James, what's the best investment?" The best investment,
You.
ikaw.
Yeah.
Kasi if you're able to find what you're good at, your calling, your purpose in life, like for you.
That's exactly right, because what you just said is so true for me. Is when I entered the workforce, I was very insecure about the fact that I didn't have a high
Degree.
school
Yeah.
diploma, or I was so, I mean, like, how do you even tell people that? Like, how far did you go? First year, not even finished first year high school. They think you're joking, right? Especially you look like this. They're like, maniwala ka dyan. It's like, well, I had to think out of the box,
Yeah.
and so I monetized my personality,
Yeah,
because that I didn't need qualifications for.
exactly.
So was born from desperation. But it goes to your point that you can sell anything. This is laway. This is personality driven. That's all it is. And to go to an extreme example, when you think, because people before, when I was doing a lot of charity work, people were saying, "I'd like to help, sir, pero I can't kasi sobrang I have nothing to give." And I said, "Look, that's fine. That's fine. I understand that. No, you shouldn't feel ever pressured to have to give. But if you look, there's always something you can give. It may not be money.
Time.
It might be time. It might even be just a kind word to the person that's giving.
Yeah.
Encourage that person.
Yes.
That's still giving." I said, here's the extreme example I want to give you. I once was able to sell fat.
Negosyong pangmatagalan at kumikitang pangkabuhayan ba ang gusto mo? Mag-franchise na sa Rigasco.
Fat. I didn't even want this fat, but I made something like, I don't know, $500,000 from it.
How?
I was trying to raise money for some children to go to school. And so this was back in, I think, 2014, 15, like that. And I was racking my brain trying to think of a way to do it. And I needed to lose weight for my TV show for CNN before. So I figured, let's get two birds with one stone. Let's motivate myself so that I publicly declare my intent to lose weight. And I'm now beholden to it because I've now mentioned it. So that's one. And two, I'll get a sponsor per pound. So I asked people, I'm going on this weight loss journey. I want you to commit whatever you can commit per pound. Companies. Bridgestone, you want? Bridgestone said, okay, I'll give 1,000 pesos per pound between this time and this time. Whatever the final weight is on this time that you lost, we'll give you 1,000 pesos per pound. Papayag ka dyan, Goodyear? Papayag ka dyan, Michelin? O hindi, 2,000 a pound. Oh, I'll give you 2,500. I'll give you that. We raised 500,000 pesos, or roughly, can't remember the exact figure, but we put 7 kids through school for 5 years.
Wow.
Which was fat. That's
Wow.
all I sold, Chinkee, was fat. I didn't even want it. And it turned it into something. Now, I'm not saying that to brag or anything. It's just, you see how when you think outside of the box.
Galing.
And then you can even look up this article. I think ABS-CBN printed this back then. Maybe the keywords are James Deakin, weight loss, charity. Because the charity was World Vision.
Yeah.
Maybe that will those keywords will find you that article. I think I wanted to use that as a test case that, look, if you have nothing to give, this is something I didn't even want.
Brilliant. Ay, nako. Guys.
The other time, I think you might have seen this one. This one went very viral. I didn't have money to give to my friend who his kid needed an operation. I was so broke back then. It's 2014. I was probably at my brokest. I just chauffeured people around in a borrowed car. So I have access to these cars, right? In the industry. I borrowed a nice Maserati, and then I charge people, I'll chauffeur you where you want to go. Do you want to go on a nice date in a nice car? Give me a tip. I'll give it to this family. We raised 2-point-something million. That was a crazy, crazy viral thing because it took on its own life form. I won't get into the story now. It's too long. But that one, over 2 million we raised based on just that.
Guys, ito lang na sana naman kapulutan nyo to ng aral. Alam mo, It's never about the lack of resources that's holding us back, preventing you from upgrading your life. It's not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. That's number one. And number two, if you're out there right now, you're struggling, and then you're lost, ano mo dapat prayer mo? Huwag pera. Pera na ubos. Huwag negosyo. Malulugi. You pray for ideas. Why? Because ideas can help you create a lot of money. And this,
Yeah. These are well-documented cases that anyone can check on. And again, I'm not saying it to brag in any way at all. I'm very proud of those moments, but I'm trying to say to inspire, because really, back then, I really had nothing to give. But I wanted to. But you can, if you look into your heart, you always have something to give.
guys, ano lang please, again, ulitin ko lang to. I'll plead with you. Especially kung di ka nakapag-aral. I never finished my college degree also. Kaya nga, medyo pareho pala kami ni James, no? Talagang magkamukha na kami, nagbebenta kami, hindi kami nakapagtapos. Pero ano alam mo, guys, walang excuses. You pray. You pray that God will give you supernatural ideas. And that's the reason why when King Solomon, di ba, God appeared to King Solomon, and King Solomon never asked for money, power, and fame. He asked for what? Wisdom. Wisdom gives you everything, and then you're a perfect example. So, one final question about money before we close. What's the one unpopular truth about money that most Filipinos need to hear, even if it's really uncomfortable?
Can be controversial again, but
Oh, no,
it's
no, no,
putting
no.
money in the bank.
Yeah, pero putting money in the bank.
Is saving in the bank account.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the fastest way to just chew through your. I mean, if you're getting what's the bank account pay now?
Less than 1%.
There you go.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
yet we're always taught money. It's good as money in the bank. That's the saying. Yeah, well, it's not. That's a misconception.
And then what the bank does, they take your money, they lend it back to you through what? Credit card.
Through credit card, and they can lend up to 90% of your money to somebody else.
Yeah.
That's fractional banking reserve. So that means when you put down a million pesos in the bank, they take 900,000, they lend it to him.
Yeah, and they charge them 6% to 10% per
Yes,
annum.
exactly. And they're paying you 0.025 or 0.05%, half a percent or something. They're making the spread on that.
And then what's worse, if you use your credit card, they charge you 3.5 per month, 42 per year with your own money.
And then what happens later on, like there's a fractional reserve. This is going around the world. The fractional reserve percentages hit 0 in the United States. That means they don't even have to carry 1% of what's, they just lend everything out. So what happens if more than in the Philippines, I think we're running about, I checked this the other day, I think we're running 10% fractional reserve, which means they keep only 10% of your money or 5%. What happens if more than 10% of people go to withdraw their money?
Kaya nga yung sinasabi nga, kunyari, if you're going to make a large withdrawal, the bank will tell you, we don't have the money.
Yes, we don't have the money.
We have to,
and what is this for? What is this for? Yes, I understand anti-money AMLAs. I understand the AMLA law, which is for good reason, but I think they also exploit it. I think they also use it to their advantage so that they don't have to, they don't like giving you cash because they don't keep the cash in there.
So right now, what advice would you give to Filipinos who wants to be both comfortable at the same time have financial peace without, again, the pressure of showing off? Because we have the culture right now in the social media, you flex, right?
I don't get that, because the pressure comes from the flexing. You flex, that puts the pressure on you to continue this fake lifestyle that you need to now borrow to maintain. I see a lot of people doing that. Don't ever spend more than you earn in trying to create a lifestyle or an image that you can't sustain. So yeah, I would just tell people to just live under your means. Always live under your means. Don't ever start buying these luxury items until, like you said, you can afford to pay them in cash. Other than that, and when you say you can afford to pay them in cash, this is for me just a metaphor, because there are many deeper ways that you can actually do a better thing than paying cash. But I guess what to your point is like, don't be encumbered to it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can go one step ahead where you can sort of say, okay, if I want to buy a nice car, and this is just purely to scratch an itch, don't try to confuse yourself that this is a logical purchase. It's an emotional one. Identify it as that. But instead of putting, let's say, 2 million into the car, you put 2 million into something that would actually generate enough to pay that car, then that's a smarter investment.
Yeah.
And there are ways you can do that. So always look to invest your money and get your investments to pay off your caprichos,
Yeah.
right? So
So right now, as closing, James, if there's someone out there right now who's watching you and probably who never finished formal schooling, they feel that they're not good enough, or probably they feel they're a loser. Talk to them right now and then address them and try to encourage them.
if you are behind the 8 ball, so to speak, just consider yourself very lucky you're living in these times. Because I think these times are the most democratized times that we live in, because most of the barriers are being lifted through AI. This means to say that we are not stuck where we were born, right? You have the opportunity now to be able to compete with not just other Filipinos, but the rest of the world, because the playing field has been leveled with the internet, with AI. You can basically do what anyone else in Sweden or any other country is doing. You have the same resources. So you have to look at where you can either, one, add value, solve problems. Just those two things alone, you're already going to find a niche for yourself. Because there's always somebody out there that has a problem that they want to outsource to somebody else. If you can solve that problem, you are worth as much as that problem is to that person. So that's the way you should always think. You should never think about trading your time for money. You should always be trading value for money. And you create the value. So don't get stuck behind these credentials, because they're meaning less and less nowadays. That's the lucky part that we live in right now. Is because back when in the 90s, very, very difficult, because all the gatekeepers were there. They were telling you, you needed to finish in this school with this grade, because I've got 100 applicants who have done this already. So if you don't do better than them, your resume is going to get buried. That's gone now. Now it's all performance-based. It's all value-based. So just believe in yourself. Try to find the spot where AI doesn't compete, because you'll never beat AI, but you can work with AI, right? So it's not about trying to live in a world with where you're competing with AI. You're competing with somebody who's using AI, right? AI is practically free now. So believe in yourself, understand the world for what it is, that the money comes from solving problems or creating value. And now we have a level playing field. So don't lose hope. Just go out there and pray for ideas. Like Chinkee said, I think that's great, great advice. Pray for ideas, pray for strength, pray to be able to just go through this and let thy will be done.
Grabe, grabe, grabe. Ay guys, ito lang I hope na you learned, and I want to encapsulate what you just mentioned a moment ago. The first thing, really honestly, in order for you to get started, is learn. You got to learn before you earn. Kung di mo alam, wala kang magagawa. Honestly, mahirap gawin isang bagay kapag di mo alam. Number 2, your goal is not to earn. Also, your goal is to add value. How do you add value? By solving other people's problem. I can never forget what Zig Ziglar mentioned, and this has been my life quote.
Let me think about it. Let me see if you can get anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want.
Exactly, exactly.
I also live by that.
Really?
Yes, James Deakin is an old school.
Yeah, just help. The goal, wag mo isipin kung magkano kikitain mo. Isipin mo paano mo matutulungan, masosolve yung problem niya. Kikita ka.
I applied that to my career. Because in my career, Chinkee, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that I applied exactly that philosophy, because you see, when you're doing things for yourself, people rarely will cheer you on. Why? Right? People like to see other people doing well, just not better than them. That's human nature. So if you're doing things for other people, right? So you have enough other people get what they want. You can get what you want. I started helping other people in becoming their voice for traffic solutions, problems on the road, etc. Don't you think these people wanted to see me do well? Why? Because they do well out of it too.
Yeah.
So you can get what you want in life if you get enough other people to get what they want.
Guys, kaya there you have it. By the way, okay, before we close, James, how do they get in touch with you? How do they follow you? And where do they follow you?
I'm most active on Facebook.
Oh.
That's just under my name, James Deakin, and Instagram as well, which is Deakinitis.
Dictionaries! Yes! Thank you very much, James. And guys, there you have it. I hope that you like this episode. Kung ano man ang natutunan nyo dito sa episode na ito, please type it in the comment section. And please, did you know that 80% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed? Bastos. 80%. Bastos. So if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. Marami kayong matutunan. And this is a rare gem. I will turn this, actually, this episode into a masterclass because there's so many life lessons and money lessons and career lessons that you can learn. So please do subscribe and always remember, tamang karunungan, tamang disiplina po ang susi sa pagyaman.
So at the age of 16, I got my first commission check of 100,000. So dapat yung isip mo, hindi, paano ako kumita? Hindi, how do I create value? Change your language. It's not actually earning, it's creating value. And if you start living that way, I'm here to solve problems. I wake up every day and my goal is to solve problems because everything in the world, whether it's a business, it's a career, it's about solving problems. When you live your life, it's either by design or by default. A lot of people live by default. Successful people live by design.